Hello, good afternoon. This day we are going to learn how to factor trinomials with a leading coefficient of 1. Okay, so what that means is that at the end of the day, the number that sits in front of the x squared term should be a 1. So now let's quickly learn some of the vocabulary we are going to use. Okay, so if you are given a trinomial, okay, therefore what is a trinomial? A trinomial is a polynomial with 3 terms. Okay, 3 terms. A term is any number or expression that is separated by addition or plus sign. So for example, if I look at this one, ax squared plus bx plus c, these are 3 terms because I have these 2 pluses separating this, that, and the c. Now, this example that you see here, that is 1 term, another term, and another term. So that's a trinomial. It's 3 terms. That's another trinomial. Okay? So, what do we do? If you have a trinomial like these 2 examples, if you want to factor them, then we are recommended that you want to write them in the standard form. A standard form means you are going to rearrange the numbers such that the one with the highest exponent comes first, followed by the next higher exponent, then the constant. So in this example, the highest exponent is a 2. The exponent is the power. Okay, so therefore that number comes first, followed by negative 5x to the power 1, then the constant. Likewise, you see the same thing here. X squared comes first because it has the highest power or the highest exponent, followed by the 7x with a power of 1, then the constant. Okay, so once you get the trinomial written in the standard form, now you can go ahead and factor. Okay, so now before we do that, let's quickly compare these trinomials to the standard form that you see here. Okay, so the number which was going to refer to as the a value is the one multiplying the x squared term. So in this example, 2 is multiplying the x squared term, so 2 will represent the number a, okay, the letter a. In this example, the b value is going to be the negative 5 because b is multiplying the x, so negative 5 is multiplying x, so negative 5 becomes the b value. And c in this example will be negative 3. The c is the constant. Okay, in this example, a is 1, b is 7, and c is 12. Okay, now these numbers that are multiplying the variables, the letters, letter x, are what we call the coefficient. So we have a coefficient of negative 5, we have a coefficient of 2. However, the number that is multiplying the highest term or the highest exponent term is what we call the leading coefficient. Okay, so in this example, 2 is the leading coefficient because 2 is multiplying the highest exponent term. Negative 5 is a coefficient, but it's not the leading coefficient. 2 is the leading coefficient. In the next example, 7 is a coefficient, 1 is a coefficient, but because 1 is multiplying the highest degree term, 1 becomes the leading coefficient. Okay, so once we understand these vocabularies, now we can go ahead and start factoring. Okay, so let's look at the process of factoring. If our leading coefficient is a 1, right? If the number multiplying the x squared is 1, how do we factor? Let's take 2 examples. Okay, in example 1, you are given x squared plus 7x plus 12. We want to factor this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find 2 numbers. Okay, let me put an x here. That will multiply to the product of a times the c value. Remember, the a value is 1, the leading coefficient, okay? And the c value is the 12. So a is 1, c is 12. So if I multiply a times c, 1 times 12, I get 12. Then those 2 numbers will have to combine to the b value. What is the b value? The b value is the number multiplying the x. So b value in this case is 7. Okay, so what do I do? Let me say that again. You find 2 numbers that will multiply to a times c So 1 times 12 is 12. Then those two numbers will have to add to 7. Okay, so now let's quickly check. What are some of the numbers that can multiply to 12? Let's find out. I can do 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Now, which of these pairs of numbers can combine to 7? And we realize, oh, that is 3 and 4. 3 and 4 can combine to 7. Therefore, the numbers I'm looking for, those two numbers I'm trying to find, are 3 and 4. So how do I write the factors from these two numbers? You open two set of parentheses, okay? Then you split the x squared into x and x. This x squared can be split into x and x, knowing very well that x times x is x squared, okay? Then I put those numbers, that is positive 3, positive 4. So positive 3 and positive 4, okay? So this means that if I factor x squared plus 7x plus 12, I end up with x plus 3 times x plus 4. And that becomes the factors I'm looking for. Now this also means from the previous lessons, if I multiply x plus 3 by x plus 4, I'll end up getting x squared plus 7 plus 12. Remember, multiplication and factoring are what? Inverse operations, okay? Now let's look at example 2. Again, we are going to find two numbers that will multiply to a times c. In this example, in example 2, a is still 1, the leading coefficient, but this time c is 10. So 1 times 10 gives us 10, and the b value in this case is negative 7. The b value is the number multiplying the x term. So now let's find two numbers that will multiply to 10 and combines to negative 7. So first of all, what are the numbers that will multiply to 10? We can have 1 times 10, we can have 2 times 5. Which of these pairs is likely to combine to give us a 7? Oh, that is 2 and 5. So we have 2 and 5. Now hold on, let's check. What is 2 times 5? That gets us 10. That is checked. But what is 2 plus 5? That gives us 7, not negative 7. So we need to do something on the signs, okay? So if I make this negative and that negative, let's see if that works out. Negative 2 times negative 5 becomes positive 10. Oh, now, see, negative 2 plus negative 5 becomes negative 7. So therefore, these are the two numbers I'm after. Okay, so now let's write our factors. You open two set of parentheses. You split the x squared into x and x, right? Now, this time the two numbers are negative 2 and negative 5. So minus 2 and minus 5. And ladies and gentlemen, these are the factors we are after. So, if I factor x squared minus 7x plus 10, I end up with x minus 2, x minus 5. Remember, this process only works if the leading coefficient is 1. If the number multiplying the x squared is 1, then that is how you do it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.